This round display is absolutely amazing, and its unique form factor breathes new life into graphics, especially when it comes to displaying animated visuals. I have crafted several animated GIFs for you, each one meticulously designed to bring this captivating round display to life. But don't worry, you don't need to be an expert to use your own animated GIF. I'll walk you through the entire process, from the tools required to adapt the animated GIF for the round display, the wiring with an ESP32, to the code that makes it all happen. We are going to see two ways to use animated GIF on the round display, using only the ESP32 memory and use GIF stored on an SD card, allowing more flexibility and potential. And the animated GIF you see, they're all yours to use. I've created them myself using Adobe After Effects, and I'm excited to share them with you. So let's get started.
You're not authorized in here.
Even though the round display is relatively small, boasting only 240 by 240 pixels in 65,000 colors, the memory requirements for animating GIF can be quite substantial from a microcontroller's perspective. This is why I've chosen to use an ESP32 for this project. There are two versions of the round display on the market that I am aware of. This one that comes with header pins that are perfect for the breadboard and available on AliExpress. And this one comes with a GST connector and is available on Amazon. Both have the same specifications. I have put the link in the video description. And before we dive into the tools to adapt your own animated GIF for the round display, let's first explore the setup for the memory-based approach. We are going to start with the AliExpress version of the display and after it, the Amazon version. Now I am using a 38 pins narrow version of the ESP32 that I found easier to use on a breadboard. The link is in the video description. So the VCC pin of the display goes to the 3-volt pin of the ESP32, the ground pin of the display on a ground pin of the ESP32. The SCL pin goes to GPIO 18, the SDA pin to GPIO 23, the DC pin goes to GPIO 2, the CS pin, the chip select pin goes to GPIO 15, and the RST pin goes to GPIO 4. Now this setup is the default for the driver of the display. It's the setup for the SPI bus or the serial peripheral interface. Now let's look at the wiring of the Waveshare version, the display available at Amazon. So the VCC pin goes to the 3-volt pin on the ESP32, the ground pin of the display to a ground pin on the ESP32, the DIN pin on GPIO 23, the clock CLK pin on GPIO 18, the chip select pin, the CS pin to GPIO 15, the DC pin to GPIO 2, the RST pin to GPIO 4, and we don't need to connect the BL pin. It's for controlling the brightness of the display and we don't need it in this setup. So the wiring of the Waveshare version is exactly the same as the Ali version. The only difference is the pin naming. And this is the resulting wiring on my breadboard. I'm using the AliExpress version, but if you're using the Waveshare version, it works exactly the same. And the code that we're going to use is also exactly the same. Okay, now it's time to prepare the code. So you go to my GitHub repository and I've put the link in the video description to get the code. It's the code for the Arduino IDE. So once you're on my GitHub repository, you go into this green button code and you click download zip. So it's going to be downloaded in your download folder. So it's a zip file. I'm going to extract it using 7-zip. And before opening the Arduino IDE, we have to rename the folder to remove the dash main on the folder, because if you don't do that, the Arduino IDE is going to complain. So we open the folder and we're going to double click on the animated GIF memory.ino, which is the main sketch file for the project. So the Arduino IDE is now opening. Now there's a few things that we need to do before uploading the code to the ESP32. And here my board is the wrong one. I need the ESP32 dev module board. So I'm going into the board manager to make sure I have the ESP32 boards by Expressive installed. So it's not installed. I'm going to click install to install all the boards for the ESP32. Now the ESP32 boards are installed and I can select here my ESP32 dev module, which is installed on the country port. And next we need to install these two libraries, the TFT SPI graphic library and the animated GIF library. So we go to the library manager and here you type TFT_ESPI and we're going to install this one by Budmer. So click install. It's going to install the library. And the next we need to install is the animated GIF. So animated. And we're going to install this one by Larry. Click install. Now there's one last thing that we need to do before uploading the code to the ESP32. And we need to configure the round display driver into the TFT SPI library. So if you right click on this header file, go to definition, and it may take a while on your side, be patient. It may take a while to open the header file. And in this header file, if you go down a little bit, we see this user setup select header file, right click on it, go to definition. And in this header file, we have to uncomment the setup 46 driver. So it's this one, it's the driver for the round display to be used with an ESP32 on the SPI bus. And to uncomment it, we have to remove this 2/, but we cannot do it in this Arduino IDE in our main sketch file, in our main project, because Arduino IDE puts all the header files for the libraries in read-only mode. But there's a way to bypass that, and I'm going to show you right now. So the library files are all located in your documents folder. So open your documents folder, and in it you're going to see an Arduino folder. Double click on it, and you're going to see a libraries folder. Double click on it, and in that folder you have all your libraries installed, and look for the TFT ESPI folder. And if you open it, we're going to see the files that we need to modify. And in order to modify them into the Arduino IDE, we need to create a .ino sketch to be able to do it. And that sketch has to have the same name as a TFT SPI folder. So we're going to first copy the folder name, go back inside the folder of the library, right click to create a new text file, paste the name of the folder, and I'm going to change the .txt extension for a .ino extension. Click yes to change it. And now I double click on this sketch. It will open another Arduino IDE, and we will be able to modify the header files in this Arduino IDE. Now go to the user setup, select header file, and we're going to uncomment the setup46 header file, this one, by removing the 2/, and we make sure that we just have one driver uncommented. So we have just one, so we are okay. And next we're going to modify the user setup header file. So if we go down a little bit, we have to comment this one because this is not the right driver for the round display. So I put 2/, and here the GC9A01, it's our driver. So I remove the 2/. And I make sure I don't have any other define uncommented. And if we go down a little bit, we have also to comment this pin definition because they are already defined at other places. So I'm going to comment these lines by adding 2 forward slashes just to avoid possible conflicts. And we can, yes, we can leave this font definition uncommented. And also this one are right. We can leave them uncommented. So we're good to go. We can close this Arduino IDE and go back to the other Arduino IDE, which contains our main sketch, the animated GIF memory project. All right, we are ready to upload the code. Let's upload it. And I'm going to fast forward until the end of the upload sequence. Now you should see on your round display the X-Wing animated GIF being shown. And if it's not the case, make sure that the wiring is correct. So go back and double check the wiring and also double check the device, the driver setup for the display. Now it's very easy to display the other animated GIF included in this project. So for example, if you want to see the Darth Vader animated GIF, you just have to uncomment the line. And my advice is to comment, just have to run one image uncommented, one GIF image uncommented, because you could run out of program memory if you try to upload more than one image. So you uncomment the image that you want to see, and you re-upload the code. So in that case, you're going to see, if you re-upload it, the Darth Vader animated GIF. Now, the way the in-memory method works is very simple. If we go see the Darth Vader animated GIF image, actually we see numbers. So the animated GIF is converted to numbers and uploaded alongside the program code into the ESP32. So now, if you want to convert your own animated GIF into these numbers, that's what we're going to see next. So there are two tools that you will need to use your own animated GIF with the project. There's first this one, which we're going to use to resize the animated GIF for the round display. It's a web application. I've put the link in the video description, and we're going to see how to use it shortly. And this tool that will convert the animated GIF into numbers that we're going to upload with our program code on the ESP32. So we're going first to download this tool. So you go to Code, download zip, and it's going to be downloaded into your download folder. So I'm going to extract it with 7-zip. And we're going to use a little bit later in the dist folder, Windows, there are Windows and macOS version, this command line tool to convert the animated GIF to numbers. To demonstrate how to use the tools, I'm going to search. Actually, I've already searched for animated GIF in Google Images, and I've choose the Creative Commons license ones, which are kind of free. And I will use this one, which is round and will fit nicely on the round display. So I right click on it. I will save it to my download folder. Now we need to resize this animated GIF so that it fits nicely on the round display. So I'm going to choose the Easy GIF tool. So it's a web application, and again, the link is in the video description. Make sure the resize option is selected. I will then choose file. I will choose the file I've just downloaded, the animated GIF. I will click the upload button here, and it's going to upload the animated GIF. We can see it here. Next, I'm going to crop it by selecting the crop tool. Crop it as tightly as I can. Let's resize this. Perfect. Now to actually crop it, you go down a little bit and you click crop image. So it's going to crop the image a little bit further. And you can see here the size of the actual GIF file. And from experience, don't go over 1 MB of file if you want to upload it on the ESP32 using the default setup of the ESP32, the default partition. So once it's cropped, we have to resize it by actually the width is 368 pixels and the height is 368 pixels. We have to resize it to 240 by 240. So I'm going to choose the resize tool. I'm going to specify 240 by 240. And I will leave the other option, the resize method, the GIF cycle, and center and crop to fit. I will leave that options as they are, and I'm going to click resize image. So now my image is resized 240 by 240. So what I can do to save the image is just right click on it, save image, and I will save it in the download folder, and let's call it animated 240 40 and save it. Now we have to convert the animated GIF we just saved to 40 by 240 version into numbers. So we're going to use the tools we downloaded before. It is here in the image to see. And I'm going to go to the distribution folder into the Windows. And I'm going to copy the C64 version. So Control C. And I will go back into the folders to paste the command line program at the same level of the animated GIF. It will be easier to use. Now to use the program, this program to convert the animated GIF into numbers, you go into the Windows bar. Here in the search, you type CMD, press enter. It's going to open a command prompt, and by default, it will be in your home directory. And we have to go into the download folder. So you type CD for change directory to downloads, CD downloads, you press enter, and we are now into the downloads folder. So we see our animated GIF and the program to convert it into numbers. Now you type the name of the command, a space, the name of the animated GIF, a space. You type the greater than symbol. So we're going to output the numbers into a file, and it must be a header file. So we're going to name it animated.h, and you press enter. We have here our header file, so we're going to move it into the project, into the Arduino project. So I'm going to move it here into the animated GIF memory project. I will open it and move it into the images folder where all the others header files, animated GIF files converted to numbers are placed. So let's go back to the Arduino IDE. We see that we have our animated header file, the GIF that has been converted into number. So we're going to paste that name. So we need it into the main sketch file. So first we're going to include the new header file. So images / animated.h. And here we're going to comment the Darth Vader file, and we're going to create a new define GIF image, and we will paste the name of the file. And now let's upload it and see the result. That's a very nice GIF, smooth animation. I like it. Now you know how to adjust your own animated GIF for the round display. And let's move to the next section where I show you how to use an SD card to play your animated GIF. We are going to use this micro SD card module to store the animated GIF. It will give us a lot more flexibility and potential. I have successfully tested it with a 32 GB micro SD card, and the SD card module is inexpensive and available on Amazon. You can find the link in the video description. Now let's look at the wiring of the micro SD card module. And after that, we are going to see how to prepare a micro SD card to store GIF on them. Now the micro SD card module is going to share the same SPI bus with the round display. So most of the pins are connected to the same GPIO pins on the ESP32. Let's start with the ground pin of the SD card module that is connected to the ground on the ESP32. And the VCC pin of the module is connected to the 5V pin on the ESP32 because the SD card reader must be powered by 5V and it cannot be powered with 3V. The MISO pin is connected to GPIO 19. The MUSI pin of the SD card reader is connected to GPIO 23. The SCK pin to GPIO 18. And the CS pin, the chip select pin, is connected to GPIO 12. And here is how the wiring looks like on my breadboard once the SD card is connected with the ESP32. Now let's download the code that we need to play animated GIF on an SD card. So you go to my GitHub repository, and again I've put the link in the video description. Once you're on the page, you go to the green button, you click on it, download zip. It's going to download all the code in a zip file. You go to your download folder, and we're going to extract all the code using 7-zip into another folder. And again, we're going to remove the dash main portion of the folder name so that the Arduino IDE will not complain when we open the project. Now, if we open the project, we're going to see the images folder into the GIF folder, all the GIF that we need to copy onto the micro SD card. And to copy the GIF to the micro SD card, I strongly suggest that you format your micro SD card with the software provided by the SD Association. So you go to that website. The link will be in the video description, and you go down and you click the SD memory card formatter for Windows. It's going to show you some legal things. Accept, and it's going to download the software. Install it, and we're going to use it to format the micro SD card. I have opened the SD card formatter application. I have a micro SD card inserted into my Windows computer that is 32 gigabytes in capacity. I'm choosing quick format, and I click format to format the micro SD card, and it's now formatted. And you see here that it's formatted as a file system of FAT32. So the SD card reader accepts FAT32 and FAT16 file system. So this one is perfect for our needs. Now here I have my SD card open, and I'm going to simply copy the GIF onto the SD card. And now just insert your SD card into the micro SD card reader, and we're ready to go with the code. All right, now let's go back into the project, into the folder of the project, to the main sketch of the project, which is this one. We're going to open the Arduino IDE by double-clicking on it. So there's no preparation to do for this code because we already installed these two libraries before, and the device driver for the round display is already set up. So we can just upload this code to the ESP32. And you should see the X-Wing animated GIF displayed on the round display. And if it's not, go back and double check the wiring for the SD card reader. You can also open the serial monitor to see if there are any error messages. So you can open the serial monitor, reboot your ESP32, and verify if there is any error messages that are displayed on the serial monitor. And sometimes on my side, when I first upload the code, I have to reboot the ESP32 to get it running right. So this code is very simple to use. Here you have the file name of the animated GIF, and you can change it to have any GIF that are stored on your SD card. So again, if we go back to the project, so we copy this animated GIF onto the SD card, so you can put any name that you want here and re-upload the code. So the code works like this. First of all, the animated GIF is not played directly from the SD card because the SD card reader is too slow. What we're doing is we open the animated GIF from the SD card and we copy it in the SPIF file system. So SPIF file system is in memory on the ESP32, and this memory is non-volatile. So once you have copied a file in the SPIF file, it remains there even though you unplug the ESP32. You cut off the power from the ESP32. So we copy the animated GIF on the SPIF file and we play the animated GIF that has been copied in the SPIF file system. So you can tailor this code to fit your own project. For example, here I'm reformatting the SPIF every time to make sure that we have enough space to store the animated GIF that we want to play on the round display. So you can adapt it as you wish. So whether you opt for the in-memory approach or the SD card method to bring your animated GIF to life, both pathways are accessible and ready to be integrated into your projects. I hope you found this video informative and inspiring. If you have any thoughts, questions, or ideas, please share them in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more creative tutorials and insights. Your support means the world to me. Thanks a lot for watching.